If you would like to access TalkAbility for the visually impaired, please visit our Facebook page.
Ho tlwaela bophelo ba hao bo botjha ke tsela e telele haholo, mme maikutlo a tshwanang le ho kwata le hore o latofatse batho ba bang ke ntho tse leng hore motho o tlamehile a sebetse ka tsona hore a kgone ho ba betere le hore a ikamohele bophelo ba hae bo botjha. Today, we spend time with someone who had to make major adjustments to his life after a family celebration went horribly wrong. Christu Blom, welcome to TalkAbility.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Christu, when you were 31, there was a tragedy that took place in your family. Can you tell us about that?
It was my mother's 50th birthday, and I was having a party for her. It ended up the Saturday night with my brother and my stepfather fighting. And I tried to break up the fight, and then my stepfather ran and go and fetch his gun to go and shoot my brother with his gun. And I tried to stop him. I was standing in the doorway. He couldn't get out. And as I was talking to him, and the next minute I just went down to the ground. I didn't hear any shot. I just felt numbness in my legs, and immediately I was lying on the floor in my mother's doorway. Even till today, when I think of that, it still hurts that something like that has happened in my mother's house.
What has that done to the family?
For many years, I couldn't forgive my stepfather for shooting me. So I used to curse him for what he has done to me. I finally, after 8 years, forgave my stepfather. And after that, my life started to make sense.
It's very interesting that to say if something goes wrong, you must forgive. But how were you able to get to that point?
If I look back on all the operations and what I've been through in my life, it's only God's grace that I'm still here after 20 years being in the wheelchair.
So there was no systemic rehabilitation that you followed?
No, I never went for counseling and so on.
So all your counseling was mainly religious in church with the priests, or did you just pray by yourself?
What has happened, I tried to commit suicide a couple of months after I got shot. And it didn't work. And I've asked God, what is the reason that He allowed this to happen to me? I only got that answer many years later.
What was the answer that you got there?
I must help people. Today I'm running my own organization where I help disabled people, and I don't help disabled people only. I help families that is in need.
It looks like even though you did not go through any formal rehabilitation, you were able to find a way to accept your new life and move on with your life. And through that whole process, you were also able to find your purpose in life. Pele re tswela pele ntse re bua tse ngata le Kristo, ha ke re ye kwana hae re lo mmona hore yena o phela jwang.
My name is Christian Blom. I'm 50 years old. For the past 20 years, I've been a paraplegic from the waist down. Fatal gunshot to my spine on my mother's 50th birthday. I have a non-profit organization called Centurion Organization for the Disabled. I help those in need. It was my calling. I feel so blessed when I can reach out and help those in need. When I helped my brother from not being shot, and I ended up getting shot, it taught me a lesson, and it also gave me a purpose in life to make somebody else's life better. It's not easy at times. I do get discriminated from certain people, but I thank the Lord for one thing, that He always gives me the strength to carry on. Before I got shot, I was running my own construction company, doing most of the work myself, till I got sick that I had to give up everything. I still keep myself busy when my body allows me, with woodwork, welding, cleaning the yard, cleaning my house. I do everything, cooking and all that. I like to create things. It still gives me that pleasure that I can still do something even though I'm in a wheelchair.
One of the things I picked up from the inset is the fact that you continue helping people. Even on the day you got injured and shot, you were actually helping. And it seems that the experience hasn't changed the principles of the man that you are.
I didn't look at it that way. I've always had a soft heart when it comes to someone who's in need of help.
Yes.
If I can't help that person, I stress a lot, and then I start to worry, what is there that I can do to try to help this person?
And when you make this type of difference in people's lives, how does that make you feel? What benefit do you receive?
God's blessings. And not only that, I feel relieved that I could do something for someone.
Yeah. You say as well that the day of the tragedy taught you something. What is it that you took from that?
One thing for sure, I will never stand in front of a gun. That I've learned a very hard way, but I've also learned to appreciate life, because I got a second chance in life and I would have died. But God somehow made the bullet go through my liver and out at the back, past the lungs and through my spinal cord, out at the back. So if the bullet went straight, I would have been dead straight away. But God made it the bullet to turn away from that, and because He wanted to use me.
Yeah, and it looks also, He also gave you an opportunity to have a much bigger extended family, because with the people you're helping, you are now a family man of many other homes as well.
Yes, and especially in my community, wherever I go, it's Malume Cristo, Uncle Cristo, and so on. You see, I'm Cristo, and the kids come, they give me hugs.
One of the things that we come across when tragedy takes place, it's the issue of blame, whether it's on a person or on a higher power. When all of this happened in your life, where did you blame anyone?
I used to blame my brother, and I used to blame my mother. I used to blame my stepfather. It was not easy. I managed to forgive my mom and my stepfather. And my brother, today, after so many years, we're starting to have a relationship now. I used to blame him a lot for what has done to me.
That is really, really, really beautiful, I must say. The mere fact that you have such strength and you have become so strong. And I think, again, one of the things that come with disability, it teaches you about the strength that you never knew you had all along. Ha re khutla, re tlo bua le Kristo re tswele pele ka hore utlwe hore yena le lelapa la hae ba lokisitse ditaba jwang, le hore ba qetetse ba tshwarelane jwang, le hore maikutlo a bona a qetetse a fotse jwang. Afrika Borwa e na le plus or minus 3 million ya batho ba phelang ka ho sa itekanele ho hlotsweng ke dikotsi. Kristo bophelo ba hae bo le ba fetoha haholo ka mora hore a le male a qetele a sa kgone ho tsamaya ha o no lwanwa kwana lapeng. Jwale re tlo bua le ausi wa Kristo e leng Leader Daniels. Welcome, Leader. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Tell me something. Yourself and your brother, what do you like about him?
He's the eldest, I'm the second eldest in the family. I must say we've got a special bond. Since the incident that occurred, we've grown a lot and we've grown fond of each other. The love and bond that we have, I must say, the things that he's been through, I really admire him. And I'm so proud of him for the work that he's doing in the community.
What has been the hardest part about the whole experience?
When I got the news to say that he was shot. And it was very hard for us as a family. It really actually tore our family apart.
What emotional support do you feel or think you've received from your sister throughout?
Whenever I needed someone to talk to and to lean on and cry, she was my support. When I've been in hospital, there were times when I feel like, now, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
And then I cried to her, and then she will always also try to lift me up with words to give me strength, you see.
Yeah, I must say, there was times when especially when he was so sick and especially when he gets these pains and that. There was times that I'll just go home and then I will just cry because then I feel so sorry for him. And there was times when I said, why don't you come and stay with us? Let me take care of you. I stay in a 2-bedroom flat, but you know what?
You
My house,
rather
is,
have him.
my house is big enough for everyone.
That is so powerful, and I think the bond between the two of you, it shows. And earlier we were talking about forgiveness and moving forward, and Christo did mention that he has been able to forgive his stepfather, he has been able to forgive his mother, and himself and the brother are actually making strides now, because
Yes.
now they can have conversations together. And for you, what is your take on that?
I'm really proud of him that he actually forgave my stepfather and that he and my brothers also starting to build a relationship because that's what I wanted.
And you know, leader, you mentioned something about the family being scattered now. With the experience and everything that has happened and what you know right now, what is your perspective on family now?
I would love my family to have a close bond because we never really had a close bond, like brothers and sisters coming together and just be a family.
And certainly that is what you are teaching your kids now.
Yes, definitely, yes. That's what I'm trying to do with my children, and that's why I keep them all together and just make sure that they have the bond which we never had.
Not all people doesn't know much about disability.
Yes, of
You
course.
see, so then I have to assure them, no, this I can do, this I can't do, and so on. But with my family there in Namibia, I have a lot of support from them, and even myself, I love them a lot, and they always are there for me also.
The most important thing that I've heard here is that even though a family is such a difficult structure to deal with and it's unique, every family have their unique issues and structure, but the both of you are doing it differently as well, but collectively. That is very important because Christo here is expanding to an even greater society, which is his community. And you are instilling that within the children, you are instilling it within Christo so that himself and your brother can also reconcile. We asked Nonhlanhla about disability later in life, and she had this to say.
Igama lami uNonhlanhla wakwaMabuza, mother of 2 boys, Joshua, who is 12 years old, and Caleb, who is 11 years old. Ngomhla ka-6 September 2009, I was involved in a motor vehicle accident. And when the doctors told me that I will never walk again, it came as a shock to me. My whole life has changed now. I had to understand. And I think people should respect us. People, they will come, oh, shame, what happened? Oh, sorry. Stop feeling pity for people on wheelchair. To undermine them is not right. It can happen to anyone. I never invited this, and I'm living my daily life like anybody else. I have this I can attitude. I am a living spirit. Have the good attitude towards people on wheelchair. Respect them, love them, show care.
Bongata ba rona ha re nkele hlohong ka moo maitshwaro a rona a hlekefetsang batho ba bang ka teng. As we've heard here with Nonhlanhla, one of her experiences is the treatment she receives from the mainstream community where there's a lot of shame, you can't do this and that. Christo, have you had those experiences? And if you have, how have you dealt with them?
It makes me feel less human. If you feel pity on me, shame, and all that, I what you call it? I will tell that person off, and I will tell him, don't pity me. I don't pity myself, so why should you come and pity me?
And such things, leader, one of the things I've learned about disability is that, yes, it is my disability, but when we are family, somehow it's like it's our disability. Because yourselves as well would hear comments of people, or when you're in town, how people would look at you. And for you, how do you deal with that?
People in wheelchairs that's got a disability, we have to support them, but we don't have, we don't have to pity them because they still human beings and they still got feelings.
Why do you think it happens and it happens so much?
I think it's because they don't understand. Maybe they've never been in that situation with a family member, and so they don't really understand in how to support them that's in this. And that's why they just feel sorry for people that's in a wheelchair or that's got a disability.
And for you, Lydia, this journey, what has it taught you?
It's tough, but at the end of the day, it's having your family supporting your family.
I think, you know, one of the things I've learned myself here is that family is extremely important.
Yes.
And when anyone goes through your experience, Christo, you may have your own strength, and you've shown that you have your own strength. However, to have a support of family and friends that would want to help you succeed is very important. That is something that a lot of people must take out from this family, you know, to go on and grow as a family. And all of you become successful in your own parts, but you also become successful together. Ha re khutla, re tlo bua le Melanie Harding a tlo re bolellang hore batho ba lemetseng se ba le baholo bophelong ba bona re ka ba thusa jwang, le hore rehab e bohlokwa ha kakang, le hore ba tlamehile ba etse jwang hore ba kgone ho thusahala. Ntse re bua le Christo mona a ntse re jwetsa ka tsa bophelo ba hae le diphephetso tsa kopaneng le tsona ka baka la ho sa itekanele ho fitlileng bophelong ba hae a se a le moholo. Melanie Harding o teng le yena mona hore a tlo bua le rona ka rehabilitation. Melanie yena he o na le master's degree in physiotherapy ebile o sebetsa haholo le batho ba lemetseng mokokotlo a ba fa rehabilitation. Welcome, Melanie.
Thank you.
We've heard how Christo has had his own journey done differently. How important is the rehabilitation process after getting an injury such as this?
Rehabilitation is a crucial element to any injury like this. And it's not just a short 3-month stint in hospital. It actually is a lifelong journey.
Please explain to us about that, the hospital process. How does it work and what does it involve?
Okay, it involves a team. The most important person in the team is actually the patient, the person with the disability. And then you'll have the doctors and the nurses and the physios and the occupational therapists and the social workers and the psychologists and the speech therapists, or a whole lot of people, including the orthotists and even the people that serve the food in the hospital, are all part of a multidisciplinary team. And what we do then is we assess the patient within his own family and community, because it's very important when we're doing rehabilitation, it's about sending the person back to where they come from. So if they have a supportive family, we want to use that as part of the rehabilitation journey, because I can help a person to a certain extent, but then I have to empower them to help themselves in the future.
You've raised a very important aspect where you say you actually put him or her in their own environment. And how do you think now, with him not following such and not having that type of perspective at the beginning, to make things quicker for a person to get back and start living their lives?
It's a difficult situation sometimes, because everybody has their own journey. And I can possibly identify the fact that Christo needs to forgive, but that's not a thing that can happen as you need it to happen. Sometimes we want it to happen immediately, but that's not the process. And these processes take time. And that's what I say, the initial rehabilitation phase, we might start touching on those emotional things, but it's not necessarily how quickly each individual person is going to be able to deal with those things. And it's a journey that each person has to go through in their own time and with their own support system. Some people will need a psychologist, other people will need their family. Somebody might need a pastor, somebody might need a physio or a whoever, you know, it's a different journey for each person.
So, Melanie, it appears that the physical rehabilitation is actually a much quicker process compared to the emotional and mental rehabilitation.
It can be, but it's not necessarily either. It depends on each person's disability. A very high quadriplegic may take longer to get stronger than a low paraplegic. Each person is an individual, and each person is assessed by the team. We look at which muscles they have, what the functional abilities they have, what we think is the best case scenario, how far we can go. But it's a process, and some patients need to sort out the emotional side before they can carry on with their physical side. Other people will do well physically, but be staying back emotionally. So everybody has their own journey, and we as the professional team need to offer the skills or the tools that we can give to be used when and where they're necessary and when they're ready to use them.
What type of procedures do you put in place to assist with adapting, especially to an outside world, when they now go to their homes, their families?
We will go to the person's home to see where they're going back to. And then our occupational therapist will make suggestions as to what adaptations can be made. I always think that it's very important to be taught to adjust to the situation you're in. If I make you only able to do things when you have to have a whole lot of assistive devices, I'm not making you environmentally friendly. Because if you want to go out into the world, you need to be able to adapt to the world as it is. So you need the skills to be able to possibly go up a ramp or go up a step or ask somebody to help you where it's inaccessible. And I think it's very important that you are as independent as possible. And that's what rehabilitation is about.
You know, Christu, what type of advice would you give somebody who had just become paralyzed?
Accept your disability. Adapt to your environment, like in your house. Make things accessible for you. If you're staying with the extended family members, try to get them also their support, so that they can help you also to make life easier for you in the house.
From your professional perspective, what do you think?
I agree with Crystal. I'm not too sure if anybody just accepts a disability, but what you need to do is to use what you still have to use, and then prevent complications like pressure sores, stiff joints. There are numerous complications. You want to prevent complications happening. Use what you have to the best of your ability and live.
And leader, how did that now, based on what they've said as a family member, because there's a lot of learning you had to do as well there. And how did that work with you and Crystal?
Yeah, I used to, when he come to visit, then I would normally do things for him, take care of him, whatever. But there was times when he would say, no, I'll go make my own coffee, or I will go do this for me. Then I just make sure everything is close by for him so that he can make his coffee or make a slice of bread. But I would normally just want to serve him, to take over, and then, yeah.
I'm sure your own independence has actually given you a much stronger and much bigger self-esteem.
Yes, definitely. It you've got so much to live out for. You see, if you are trying to be, and you must make it sure that you can do it. You are independent on yourself. You don't need somebody else to depend on.
Well, everyone, you've heard it from the horse's mouth himself. You adapt, you accept, and you work very hard at becoming independent. Hopolang hore, ha o lemala, ha se pheletso ya lefatshe, empa ke monyetla wa hore o phele ka tsela e nngwe ebile o kgothatse ka mehla. Ha o ithola maemong ana, o se ke wa tsaba ho kopa thuso. Tswela pele o bue le rona on our social media pages. Libitso ke Reina Moloi, and we talk ability.